All right, so what is up, people? We are back. Part two, mountain landscape, killing the game. You already know. All right, we out here. Number two pencil, only pencil I'm using. I guess we'll just kick it right off. We're gonna come right up here. I'm gonna start from right to left because I'm a lefty, obviously. So if I'm over here, I'm gonna smudge it as I'm going along. So I'll start over here. Make a little trunk. We're really not going to do anything crazy here. We're just going to go back and forth. Making little branches coming out. Now again, you can see that I'm not exactly following my guidelines over here, but that's completely okay. Because whatever we don't cover, we can just erase out later. Also got a couple new subscribers from the last video, so thank you to those people and welcome. I'm hoping that we can grow this channel and I can do more drawings, bigger drawings, longer drawings. And as I said previously, this isn't really like a crazy detailed drawing. I'm kind of just going with basic stuff here to help out some beginners. And you can see I'm not really doing anything crazy here. I'm essentially just scribbling, really. And we can come back and add texture, take away texture as we want. But we're more or less going for a silhouette type of deal. But I'll definitely come back and fill in these parts nearer to the trunk to give it some depth or cylindrical look to it. And as you can see, I'm really not going into that much detail here. I'm really scribbling, like I said before, but I think that's all right because this isn't really going to be the focal point of the drawing. It's more just, I'm going to have one over here and one over here. So it's going to direct your eyes to the middle here, which is the mountain, is where I'm going to be doing most of the detail work. So that'll be in part 3. Definitely come back and check that out, because it's going to be a doozy, I'll tell you. So we're just going to keep working our way down here. It's not looking too bad. It's not looking, it's not the craziest tree I've ever seen in my life, but it'll get the job done for sure. And to be quite honest with you, I've never even done this myself, honestly. I just draw other stuff, but I figured this would be a a fun little challenge. So we'll see what we can come up with at the end. And that's the great thing about art, is that it doesn't really have to be perfect, as long as you're happy with it. It's all that really matters. And you keep working at it until you're at a spot that you're happy with. So I think that's going to be all right. Well, not all right, but all right for the base. But we're just going to come in here, add some dark branches here, so we can at least tell where give some more uniform look to where these branches are headed and all that type of stuff. So I'll come in here and darken this up as well. Bring that out a little bit. And later towards the end, we can come back in with the eraser and pull out some highlights if we want. But you'd be surprised as to how hard it is to draw with just one pencil, I'm used to having 6 or more to get those different values in there. You can see with this pencil, it's not as easy to pull out different values and really having to work it around and go over it a bunch of times to get those values to come out. Which is alright. I used to, when I first started drawing, I would only use a pencil like this, a mechanical HB. But only till I got a little more serious about it is when I upgraded and got some more pencils. And it makes a world of difference, honestly. But for right now, we'll stick with this one pencil and we'll be just fine. I'm going to fill in these gaps a little bit here because I don't really like the way that's looking like that. I'll give it another branch. All right, well, I think I'm going to leave that tree for right now. And I'm going to move over here. I'm just going to add a little tree in here. Nothing really crazy. Just to go with the background. Alright, so that's not looking too terrible. so far. So come over here and work on this one. One of our smaller trees. Same thing as the big one, just smaller, tighter scribbles basically. Now if I was doing this as a more serious drawing, I would obviously be taking more time and making sure that, everything looks perfect, I guess, but this is really just more of a sketch and an exercise, really. That's why I was kind of encourage you to follow along if you're watching, because you'll always learn something new as you're going, and you can incorporate that into bigger drawings that you do in the future. Come in here and give this a trunk. Just bring it down a little bit. Really loose. Not going to worry about it too much. Maybe come in here and give this one as well. Might as well, who cares? That's the beauty about art. You do what you want, and that's it. No one's going to tell you it's wrong. No one's going to tell you it doesn't look good. And it's your drawing anyway, so who cares? Come in here, give this some depth. Darken this middle part up a little bit. Now, if you wanted this to be a snowy type of scene, you could, instead of shading in these top parts of these branches like I'm doing, you could either leave them blank and shade around them and kind of imply that there's snow on top, make like a little blob shape, I guess, to imply that there's something on top of the branch. Or you can do it like I did, but instead of making it darker, you would just erase out these spots that you want it to look like there's snow until you're happy with how it looks. Which I'm not going to be doing that, but you never know. Maybe in the future. Come in here, give some texture a little bit. There's some dark lines in there. That's not looking half bad, honestly. I'm pretty happy with that. And you can see that these two trees are, they're not really well, they're kind of the same. They don't look completely the same, so you can like tell that you kind of learn as you go. Because whatever you didn't like about this first tree, you'll be like, well, I'm not going to do that over here. So that's kind of part of the lesson. And we're probably going to come back over here later to this tree anyway and erase out some spots. And give it more depth, but for right now, I'll just leave it like that. Actually, I'll come over here real quick. All right, so we'll come over here, start these same way as this little guy over here. Really just want a basic silhouette. Point to it. Just add a little bit of texture. You don't want it to be completely smooth on the edges. And this part down here, you can just, color it all in, because this is kind of going to be where I'm ending the drawing. I kind of like my drawings to fade out rather than have it be like a cut border. That's just my preference, though. If you don't like that and you want a boundary to, guide your drawing, feel free to, add a border, draw in a border, do whatever you need to do. But we're just winging it around here today. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with how this row of trees came out. And another tip I would give you, or something to be aware of at least, is when you're drawing with a mechanical pencil, as you're drawing, as you can see, or maybe not, if it'll focus. Well, anyway, you'll know that, one part of it is going to get flat as you're drawing. And you're going to have a sharp edge on one side. So if you want to get these little marks out here, these little, to make it texture or whatever, you're going to want to turn the pencil so you're on that sharp side, and you can make those little marks. But it won't last you forever because it's going to dull down. So you got to keep rotating your pencil around to keep getting that sharp edge. And then when you're shading big spots, you can turn it back to the flatter end and get those nice smooth lines. So, I'm trying to think, do I want to make this tree bigger? And by bigger, I mean, do I want to fill in this space? Because what am I going to put down here? I don't know. That's kind of the thing with drawing. You kind of just jump in and see things as you go. You don't necessarily need a plan. Add some texture here. Just little hash marks. Make it look a little better, even though we're not going for extreme realism here. Looks a little bit nicer, I suppose. Fill this in a little more. Put some little branches in here towards the bottom. Blend them in. Alright, so that's not looking half bad. It's not great, but we'll come back and fix it up in a little bit regardless. So I guess we'll come over to this tree, work on this one a little bit. See, again, I'm trying to find that edge of the pencil. There we go. Get those nice, thin, sharp marks. Alright, so I'm done with this tree. And now I'm just going to come in and give it some darker highlights. You know, I gotta say, I'm actually liking this tree a lot better than this one over here. This one's looking a little funky. It's not doing so good. But we'll go back and we'll see what we can do. So I'm basically just filling in some dark edges here, making some dark and light spots. Make it look a little more three-dimensional. Okay, so I'm done with these trees over here. And, you know, upon further inspection, I'm really digging how this came out right here. I really like this. It's kind of like a big, puffy looking tree with some nice shadows. Maybe add a little more right here. Yeah, like that. But I come back over here and I'm not really liking how these are coming out or how they came out, but we're going to try to fix it. So I really want to avoid leaving empty spots down here because I'm not going to be using a shading stump. So I'm not really going to be able to just fill this in without it just looking strange. So I'm going to try to fix this tree right here. I don't really like these branches. It just doesn't look right to me. So I'm going to actually bring it all the way down the ground. This tree is kind of going to get covered up for the most part. But that's all right. This one also, I'm probably going to get rid of this tree, bring it all the way down, and then kind of fill in this area. So I'm going to work on that. Okay, so we're back, and you can see I kind of just filled this in. Still have this little bit down here. I'm actually going to come in here and erase that. Take that out. And bring these down. Cover that up a little bit. Now we're just going to shade this in a little bit better. It's kind of like a tattoo cover-up or something like that. Try to make it look like that other tree was never there. And I don't really want that tree trunk showing in the middle anymore. So I'm going to try to blend it in as much as I possibly can. See, and that's what I was talking about earlier in the video. As the drawing goes on, you're going to do things you like and do things you're not going to like. But you can always go back and fix it after. So that's what we're doing. Because, I really had I had no plan of what I was going to do coming into this. This is like totally, I'm just winging it and seeing what I can make of it. And when I did this one over here, I really liked this style. This is kind of like a fluffier style. It's not, really, there's no spaces in between the branches. And I just like it more, so I'm going to try to implement that style over here. It's actually not coming out half bad. And if you like the other style better, where you can actually see spaces in between the branches, by all means, go for it, That's the style you like, that's the style you should do. Bring this down just a little bit. We can put this tree stump in there. We want the stump coming out the bottom, and it'll be in front of that. Just bring that down. And that's pretty good. Okay. This little tree back here. Give these edges a little bit more touch up. Give them a little more three-dimensional look, I suppose. Give it kind of a layered look. And, you know, later on when I'm doing other drawings on this channel, I will be using more pencils, more materials, and in turn we'll get a better result. But that's for a later venture. Here, make that one pretty dark. I'd say that's pretty good for over here. You know, actually, nah, I'll leave it for right now. So now we gotta fix this tree. Actually, I want to get rid of that trunk. I'm not the biggest fan anymore of the tree trunk. So what I'm doing is really just making a thick section of, you know, bristles or whatever you want to call them on these trees. And I'm just shading in, like, you know, different sections of where they'd be. Kind of want the layered look. And also, like I said earlier, it's not easy with this one pencil trying to do this. It's really hard to pull out super dark values unless you're using a charcoal pencil or something like that, which I don't normally do anyway, but it can help get your point across. So basically changing my entire design here of this first tree. Gonna have to blend in these branches too, so darken them up before I change my mind. But it's not looking too terrible. I definitely like it more than what I had before, and that's always a good thing. And you see, you can't even see where I had that other tree earlier, which is exactly what we want. We want to cover that up as well as possible. Bring in the tree trunk. We just want a little base coming out, just to give us some sort of idea of what's going on. Okay. Hit the edges a little bit. Yeah. Look at that. And that old design that we had just fades away. And no one will know. Except for all of you, of course. You'll know because you saw me draw it. It's not about how you do it. It's just a matter of getting there. And, I often do that a lot. I'll be drawing, and I'll take a break or wait till the next day. And I'll come back and I'll be like, ooh, I don't like that. And I'll change up a bunch of stuff. But you can't go super crazy with it. Don't go erasing your whole drawing. You definitely don't want that. This is actually looking not bad now. I really was I was not happy with how it looked before. But now I'm feeling pretty good. Make sure I put those shadows where those branches were. That's really what we're trying to hide. Really make them not so obvious looking to the best you can. You just want to make it look like there's some texture here. And I'm really not doing anything crazy. I'm really just scribbling, but it's enough to get the job done. All right, so that's not really looking half bad. I think I'm gonna come in here with the eraser a little bit and just hit these parts where the trunk was. See if I can knock that out a little bit further. And if not, that's completely okay. See, that looks pretty good. And you can always come back in here and hit it with the pencil again in spots that you erase too much or you don't like the way it looks. This is the process of drawing, doing it, looking at it, going back, erasing, redrawing. Actually, kind of liking the texture it's given this. Kind of smoothing it out a little bit. Kind of into it. So I'll keep going with that. And like I said, we're not using any shading tools, but as you can see, the eraser can shade quite nicely if you're going for, you know, just big patches and nothing super detailed. Get the job done for you. So I actually like that, how that came out. It's not half bad. We'll take it for sure. I'll hit up these a little bit. Actually gonna come back. See, now that you can see on my hand, when I was over here, this kind of got a little flushed out, but it's all right. Doesn't look too bad. Maybe we'll hit this up again. Darken that back up. Not that big of a deal. But it's actually kind of beneficial sometimes when your hands kind of blends it for you. It's kind of, you know, uniformed it a little bit. Those shadows aren't so harsh in here anymore. So, you know, it could work out pretty good. I'm going to come in here and do this a little more contrast. You don't just want to shade on the edges and give it that like dark outline. You want to at least do some in the middle. This out a little bit. Just little bristles hanging out there, having a good time. Some over here. Some over here. And, you know, I think we're gonna call that done, actually. Looking pretty good. Not terrible. I don't know if there's a glare or not. Oh, there you go. Look at that. Way better. I don't really have the best lighting here. I'm kind of just making do with what I got. So that's kind of more so what it looks like on my end. I know, flip it down, you kind of get that glare, but I'll see if I can fix that. All right, so stay around for part 3. Subscribe, do whatever you want, you know, and part 3 will be taken out, or not taken out, we'll be filling in these mountains, and we'll finish this drawing up, and then we'll be done. We'll have a nice drawing that we can hang up or show your friends, show your family, or just keep it for yourself. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys next time.